The Essays of Warren Buffett Part 2, The Truth of the CEO and the Fear of the Investor. In Part 1, we saw that Warren Buffett does not consider a stock to be just a shining price on a screen. For him, a share is actually ownership of a business, and the investor is not an outside player but a small partner in the company. But the moment you consider yourself an owner, the story changes immediately. Now the question is no longer whether the share will go up or down tomorrow. The real question becomes, who is running the business in which my money is invested? Imagine, you are the owner of a company, but the people sitting in the meeting room tell you only what sounds good to hear. Bad news gets suppressed, accounting gets tangled, and the CEO walks away with applause by showing a shiny picture of future growth. At first glance, everything looks professional. The annual meeting happens, presentations are given, big words are spoken, but somewhere inside, a fear remains hidden. Is the owner being told the truth? This is the beginning of Part 2. In Buffett's essays, corporate governance is not a boring corporate topic, but the first door to the investor's protection. Because if the management is not honest, even a strong business can gradually become weak. And if the CEO starts hiding the truth, the loss to the investor happens in the boardroom before the market. While talking about annual meetings, Buffett puts forward an uncomfortable truth. In many corporations, the meeting becomes a formal drama more than a business discussion. Shareholders come, but many times the questions are connected less with the business and more with personal grievances. The meeting ends, but the real clarity remains exactly where it was. Buffett did not like this model. In Berkshire Hathaway's meetings, his focus was different. If an owner is asking a question, they must get the truth and useful information. This was the reason why Berkshire's meetings did not remain just formal events. People came there to understand business, and Buffett and Charlie Munger answered questions for hours. Now here is a small twist. Buffett does not talk just about giving an answer, he talks about giving the correct answer. Because answers are of two types. One is that which sounds good, and the other is that which shows reality to the investor. Buffett chooses the second type of answer. He says that if he were in the investor's place himself, he would want to know the company's long-term economic reality. Meaning, just how much profit was made this year is not enough. The real question is, what is the character of the business, is the earning sustainable or not, and where is the risk hidden? Right here, the real test of corporate governance begins. Does the CEO consider the owner a partner or an audience? If the CEO considers the shareholders an audience, the presentation will be beautiful. But if he considers them partners, the conversation will be honest. Buffett's biggest principle is this: think by reversing the roles. If I were in your place, what information would I need? This thinking seems simple, but it is very rare. Because many companies highlight only that information which shines their image. Good news comes in a big font, bad news gets buried in the footnote. Growth is talked about openly, but risk is touched upon softly and passed by. Buffett warns against such communication. For him, unclear reporting is not just weak writing, it is a warning sign. If after reading the company's annual report, it cannot be understood from where the money is actually being made, then the investor should pause and think. Because confusion is not always an accident. Sometimes confusion is used like a shield. Management can hide in complicated language. In the midst of accounting terms, bad economics can be turned into a good story. This is the reason why Buffett says to pay attention to footnotes. Many times, big truths lie hidden in small letters at the bottom of the report. If after reading the footnote, the investor feels that the matter is beyond understanding, then the problem might not even be the investor's intelligence. Perhaps the company does not want the matter to be easily understood at all. Here Buffett's thinking is very sharp. He does not consider accounting to be just a game of numbers, but the language of trust. When accounting is clear, the investor can see the real picture of the business. But when accounting is weak, the mirror itself becomes blurry. And the most dangerous thing in a blurry mirror is overconfidence. The CEO says that the company will grow by 15% every year and people get happy. But Buffett warns against such claims. No one can guarantee the future, especially in the business world where competition, the economy, and human mistakes are always present. Keeping a growth target is one thing. Giving a guarantee of growth is a different thing. When the CEO makes unrealistic earnings promises, he creates a trap for himself as well as for the shareholders. Because once a dream has been sold to the market, the management may start taking wrong decisions just to save that dream. Sometimes expenses are cut in the wrong place. Sometimes accounting becomes aggressive. Sometimes an acquisition happens just to meet the numbers. And gradually, appearance becomes more important than business reality. This is the very moment where the investor should be alert. In Buffett's eyes, a good CEO is not one who is always optimistic. A good CEO is one who can speak the truth, even when the truth is uncomfortable. This statement is easy to hear but very difficult in the corporate world. Because there is pressure on the CEO to please analysts, to look confident to the media and to manage the stock price. But Buffett says that the CEO's first responsibility is honesty towards the shareholders. If trust breaks, the reputation goes away. And the strictest rule of Berkshire is this: financial loss can be endured, reputation loss cannot. This line is not just moral advice. This is a risk control strategy. Because a company's reputation is built over years, but it can break with one bad decision. Risk control does not mean just an insurance policy or a legal department. For Buffett, risk control means culture. If the culture is right, people will report a mistake early instead of hiding it. If the culture is bad, a small problem can become a big fire. Buffett knew that in a company with thousands of employees, it is not possible to control every person at all times. But the CEO can certainly decide whether action will be taken the moment a wrong matter comes to light or not. Right here is the real test of leadership. A company does not end due to a problem occurring. The damage increases by hiding the problem. Now on the CEO's accountability, Buffett says another major thing. In a normal job, performance standards can be clear, like typing speed, sales target or production output. But with the CEO, the standard often becomes blurry. Even if the company is performing poorly, the CEO can still remain in the chair. Why? Because who will judge him? The board of directors theoretically monitors the CEO. But if the board becomes a friendly circle instead of thinking independently, the oversight becomes weak. Right here, corporate governance rises from the paper and comes into reality. Having a structure named the board is not enough. The board truly waking up is necessary. Buffett wants to explain to the shareholders that the CEO's power without accountability can be dangerous. Many times, an average employee's job in a company can be lost quickly, but a poor-performing CEO can remain for years. This contradiction is not small. The investor must ask, is the management truly working for the owners? In Buffett's Berkshire philosophy, an attempt to reduce the distance between the owner and the manager is visible. He gives autonomy to managers, but along with trust, he gives responsibility too. His model is not micromanagement. He chooses good managers, lets them run the business, and maintains discipline on capital allocation. This model runs only when honesty is deep. If the manager hides the truth, decentralization can become a weakness. Therefore, for Buffett, character is just as important as intelligence, sometimes even more than that. Now comes the matter of charity. And here Buffett returns to the ownership principle again. He believed that ignoring the preference of the owners in corporate charitable contributions can be wrong. If the company's money belongs to the shareholders, why should directors decide the donation solely by their own choice? Buffett does not say that charity is wrong. He raises the question with whose money, with whose permission, and for what purpose. If charity is connected to the business, builds community goodwill, or is tied to the company's role, then the matter makes sense. But if directors are fulfilling only their personal choice with the company's money, then the investor has the right to ask this question. Here too the same theme returns: respect for the owner. Whether it is a meeting, accounting, CEO performance or charity, Buffett's center point is ownership. And this is the big payoff of Part 2. Corporate governance is not a list of boring rules, it is the protection of the investor's dignity. But the story does not end here. Because after honesty and governance, the next big question comes: where should the capital be deployed? The CEO can speak the truth, the board can be responsible, but if capital allocation is wrong, shareholder wealth can still be destroyed. In the story of Berkshire, this very next door opens. Buffett did not just buy companies, he understood the art of sending capital to the right place. Sometimes reinvesting money in the business is right. Sometimes an acquisition is right. Sometimes doing nothing is the most intelligent decision. And this very point is powerful for the ordinary investor too. Not every action is necessary. The right action is necessary. Part 2 tells us that the investor should ask questions not just to the market, but to the management as well. Before listening to the company's shiny growth story, one should see whether the reporting is clear or not, whether the CEO is realistic or not, and whether the culture takes risks seriously or not. Because sometimes the biggest threat is not a falling stock price. The biggest threat is that comfortable lie which the investor accepts as the truth. Now in Part 3 the story will deepen further. The question will not remain just whether the CEO is honest or not, but it will be whether the honest CEO even knows how to deploy money or not. Because in Buffett's world, capital allocation is that invisible engine that creates the difference between an average company and a compounding machine. And right here lies hidden the next secret: in which business should money be put, from which deal should one run away, and when does doing nothing become the biggest masterstroke?
If this video has taught you something new, or if you feel this information should reach more people, don't forget to like and share the video. Your small share can become valuable and useful information for someone else. If you have any questions related to this topic, or if you would like to share your opinion with us, be sure to write in the comment box. We read every question and suggestion from you, because your feedback inspires us to create better content. And if you want to keep receiving such interesting and reliable information about business, the economy, and the world in the future, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel GRT Business and also press the bell icon so that you get notifications of every new video directly. At GRT Business, we always strive to provide you with accurate, balanced, and reliable information. Our news and analysis are prepared based on information obtained from various news agencies, public sources, and public opinion. We make every effort to verify and validate each fact as much as possible. But in case of any possible error or dispute, the responsibility lies with the respective sources. Our only aim is to present you with a correct and trustworthy perspective so that you can understand any topic better.